China's President Xi Jinping tried to firm up his country's relationship with the EU by phoning German Chancellor Angela Merkel shortly after Joe Biden's victory in the U.S. election, a former Washington aide has claimed. China's alliance with the EU has attracted international attention recently after the two agreed to an investment deal back in December. This astonished the incoming Biden administration. It's no secret that there are underlying tensions over trade between the U.S. and China. U.S. President Joe Biden had hoped to adopt a shared approach towards Beijing with the EU, in a move which would reignite transatlantic relations and help reduce China's growing power. When the EU subsequently announced it had agreed to the Comprehensive Agreement on Investment (CAI) with Beijing, despite pleas from the Biden camp to wait until the president-elect was in office, it signaled a step away from the U.S. However, it seems the controversial New Deal, which was 7 years in the making, almost fell through. Negotiations between China and the EU were even considered dead in the water when the summit was postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic last September, according to former aide to George W. Bush, Peter Ruff. Yet, Mr. Ruff claimed relations were reanimated when President Xi took action shortly after Mr. Biden was announced as the victor of the U.S. presidential election in November. Mr. Ruff explained, the prospect of a Biden administration forging a common front with Europe deeply unsettled Beijing. The day after Joe Biden's first phone call with Angela Merkel as president-elect, Xi Jinping followed up with a conciliatory call to Berlin of his own. The purpose of his intervention? To give the CAI fresh impetus and split Europe from the U.S. By increasing the rift between the U.S. and the EU, President Xi is helping to break up a transatlantic approach which could put pressure on China to alter its plan to expand its power. Mr. Ruff claimed China's New Deal is particularly alluring to Germany's industrial sector, which is considered the backbone of the EU's economy. By calling Mrs. Merkel, President Xi reminded the most influential figure in the bloc how China could give Germany in particular a much-needed boost. Indeed, the EU noted that China was in a hurry to secure the deal before Mr. Biden was sworn into office, so the bloc managed to bag a few token concessions in the process. However, Mr. Ruff wrote in his February paper for the Hudson Institute, Europe's China Chimera, that the new agreement is still a poisoned chalice. He explained, in the short run, the investment agreement may strengthen Germany, but in the long run, it poses a real danger to its health. It does not address China's underlying transgressions because it undercuts the transatlantic approach, which is the only way Europe can marshal the strength to enforce any agreement's commitments. He also warned that the deal had been enriched with jewels, which many experts fear are fake. He noted, China is interested in Europe as a means towards self-sufficiency, not interdependence. Mr. Ruff also remarked that the Chancellor's decision to allow Chinese technology firm Huawei to access Germany's digital networks is especially alarming, as it will provide Beijing with a stronghold in the country. Politico's Matthew Karnishnig even claimed that the deal was the equivalent of the EU giving the new Biden administration a one-finger salute. This is especially surprising considering Mrs. Merkel concluded last year, Europe can't defend itself on its own. We are reliant on this transatlantic alliance. Yet, other EU officials justified the New Deal as an attempt to become an independent and strong power, which would only help it become a better ally to the U.S. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen claimed last year, it is not possible to shape the world of tomorrow without a strong EU-China partnership. Even so, to many in the West, the New Deal signaled that the bloc was deliberately turning a blind eye to China's worrying treatment of both Hong Kong, where the region's democratic society is being increasingly restricted, and Uyghurs, who are allegedly facing systemic abuse in China.